Hey everyone.
Welcome.
Hello.
Happy
Hi.
Tuesday.
Oh gosh, you did well to remember what day it is. Oh, it's really hard when there's funny weeks like this.
It's so true.
Oh, you lose track too quick. But welcome. We'll wait for, is everyone still joining or we're nearly there?
I think we've almost got everyone. Yep.
That's awesome. All right, well, thank you so much for joining us this evening. My name's Michelle. I'm a business development manager for the area, and joining me tonight are two of my marvelous team, my team leaders, that we all work together, Kimberly and Suzanne. I'm based in Sunbury, and I have been a consultant, team leader, and BDM, so with the company for 7 years. So I absolutely love and really enjoy every moment of working this business. What I will say is I feel like I've come out of retirement tonight. I haven't had to do, or not had to do, I enjoy doing them, but I haven't had the opportunity to do one of these classes for some time now. So have a laugh when I stumble, enjoy the other two picking on me. We're all good friends here. But we've got lots of tips and tricks to share with you, whether you're a TM6 owner or not yet purchased. If you can see where the chat box is, I'd love you to pop in the chat box. Do you have a TM6, a 5, a 31, or not yet got one? I'd love to see that light up with all of your responses. So Kimberly, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm Kimberly. I've been a team leader now since November. And I was just quickly doing the maths while Michelle was talking. I think I'm coming up on 5 years. No, it can't be 5 years. 3 years.
2019. 4
years. I should know. It's the same age as my son that I was on maternity leave for, which is when I joined. So I am based out in Sunbury, and my team ranges out from Craigieburn up to Maston Ranges, Oak Park. I like to spread out a bit.
Yep. Awesome. And Suzanne?
Well, I've been around the business for a long time, actually, 2 years now, and a team leader here in the Inner West for 4 or 5, maybe. No, maybe it's 4. I don't know. Does COVID count for like 5 years each year or something? That was a busy time for us.
It was.
Yeah, so I've been around for a long time. So we've got a lot to share between the three of us today, don't we?
We do. Lots of experience between us.
So feel free to post any questions that you guys have. Yes. Please pop them in the chat. I can see that there are quite a few TM31 owners. I've had my TM31 and I still got it, as a backup now and then. So, if you do have questions, pop them in the chat. All of us are pretty experienced at answering those sorts of things, even a TM21, if you've got a TM2. Want any questions answered, we've got some knowledge about those too.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Suzanne. So tonight's class is pretty much all basic staple items. It's not a fancy class, but it's there to ensure that you're got those basic items that you can cover within your Thermomix in the kitchen. Now, I'll just do a quick, for those of you who have just received your Thermomix in the last maybe couple of months, or are yet to purchase one and a little bit inquisitive, you'll notice we've got a larger screen on the TM6. Now, Cookie Do, our recipe platform, we're going to go through that soon, but that's all built in. There's no extra cook keys or chips on the side or anything. It's actually quite easy and user-friendly. Now, our screen, it's got your time, your temperature, and your speed, just like your TM5. It looks very similar, but with a bigger screen. And of course, the TM31 had your buttons to replicate that. One swipe this way, and that's our online platform called Cookie Do, which has all of our recipes in it. I think there's, oh gosh, I can't remember how many, 80, 90,000 recipes in it now.
I think we're nearly up to 90,000.
That's so much. So you can search directly on the screen here. And scroll down, it gives you some suggestions and the latest recipes that are out, latest collections, hints and tips, and sometimes even some instructional videos with full sound and everything to show you what to do with things. So that's a little snippet there. And then scrolling this way, and we have all of those little circles are different modes. So on here is everything like scales, dough, kettle, warm up, we've got our very latest one called Chop, which makes things, takes the guessing out of it, I guess, is what Thermomix is all about. And they're just getting better and better. So you're pressing the chop mode and you can literally choose what you want to chop. Apples, beef, breadcrumbs, whatever you want to make. And there's loads to choose from there. So our modes are probably one of the key features of the TM6. Now, my favorite too is the egg boiler mode, because it's just simple and I don't boil a pot dry on the stove while I'm dealing with my boys having World War III. And also the high heat mode that's built into your recipes is amazing. You get a proper saute. So it's just, you know, TM5, 31, 21, it was more like a stewed sort of approach to the onions, whereas this is a proper saute. And that's my first recipe I'm going to show you. The other thing I want to just go through very quickly is your aroma. Hands up. Pop in the chat box with me if you have not used your aroma yet. Doesn't matter if you've had your Thermomix for 2 weeks, 2 years. I want to know who's not used it or who loves it. Let me know. I want to see where you're at with that. Now, this aroma has the tray in it. You can use it with or without the tray. No issue there, depending what you're making. Corned beef, whole chicken, or you can do meatballs and vegetables, whatever suits you. This is 3.3 litres of food that you can cook in this. So if you're not using this, please reach out to your consultant and ask them to do a demonstration for you, which showcases how to use it to its full capacity, because we want you to get your money's worth out of your Thermomix. All right, so enough about that. We're going to move on now to our, so in here, I've already popped it in my planner. So if I go to my week, it will show me my sauteed onion recipe. And I just press start now. It's got built-in scales and it weighs by the gram. So it wants 20 grams of oil. Oops, oopsie, bit much, that's okay. We'll be right. You can see how I actually cook here. I think we all do. Baking's different. Now, onions into wedges. It says 200 to 300 grams. There we go. There's 270 there. All right. Now, this one asks for the splash guard. So your splash guard is different to your simmer basket. Where's the simmer basket? Sorry. So your simmer basket, some recipes it'll ask for it to sit on top just to let more steam out. This is to actually protect you from any splatter. So you'll notice where it's open, it's closed, and where it's closed, it's open. So it's just there to protect you and it's held down by the auto locking arms. So once that's done, you press the done button, just turn it and it starts the mode. So 10 minutes, you'll hear it turns the blades and then it stops. So eventually it'll get a sizzle up and I get really excited at the sizzle still because it's just like nothing I've ever seen before. And like I said, the onions, I love onions, in case you couldn't tell. The onions are really good and flavoursome that come from it. So I'm going to leave that so you can hear it stopped. I don't know if you can hear. And then it gets a bit of a sizzle up. You probably won't hear the sizzle, I don't think, but we'll try. And then it'll turn the blades again and then it'll let it sit. So just that way, it's sort of replicas you standing at the stove and just giving it a bit of a, you know, sift around the frying pan. I don't know if you can hear. Can you hear the his sizzle? No? I'll just look like I'm cuddling my family.
No, it is hard to hear it on this Zoom.
It is. I try every time. For years I've tried and majority don't hear it. Never mind. I think Kimberly's going to show us whipping some cream now.
Yes.
We're going to let that
go. Yeah.
Okay, so something very important when you are whipping cream, I realised when I got my bowl out of the dishwasher that it was too hot. So if you are going to whip cream, make sure your bowl is room temperature or cold. Otherwise, it ain't going to work. Alrighty. So I've also put this into my week. So I'll go into my planner, which is going to be slow for me today. I'm on a camera. I haven't done a class by video in a long time. All right. So whipped cream, Simple. I've looked that one up on Cookie Do. Every single recipe will actually tell you its difficulty, its prep time, and its total time. I will specifically filter recipes completely by total time because I want to know when it's going to be on the table, and I like the shortest total time if I'm in a rush. It'll also tell you its serving size, which we can now change. So I'm just going to hit start cooking. Once we insert my butterfly whisk, I don't know how many people have accidentally chopped their butterfly whisk. I've done it once. All right, so with our bowl, if you can see that one there, we've all got that one blade that goes up. So if you were to get your spatula and were to run it down all 4 blades, Michelle taught me this and I love it. It's great when there's food in the bowl. If you were to run your spatula down all 4 blades, one of them you can't actually go down. It's called the slippery slide. 3 of them are a slide, 1 does not go down. That's our magic blade. And I just go ahead and put the butterfly just on that sharp side of that blade. Anyway, if it happens to come off, we all know we just press that emergency, I call it the emergency button, it's our selector. It'll stop everything, it'll pause everything, and you can adjust it. We know what it sounds like. On my screen, I do also have a little video that will show you how to pop it on, but I'm not going to play that one because I showed you. So 200 to 600 grams of chilled cream. I'm going to turn my scales. I'll pop the whole thing in. I volunteered to do cream because it means I have an excuse to make scones now and I don't need the scones.
I was wondering why you were very excited about making that one.
All right, I'm going to pop my lid on. I'm going to turn the speed selector to 3 and then it has a meanwhile, follow the next step. So there's actually no time set here. I've done that, yeah, no time. So I'm going to turn to 3. So it wants you, I'm just going to step away from the machine so you can hear me. It wants you to watch carefully through the mixing bowl lid to avoid over whipping. Now, I do suggest you don't do that till after at least 20 or 30 seconds, because if you look through that hole right now, it's still a lot of liquid, and I will be wearing whipped cream on my glasses. I mean, they are safety glasses, but I don't need cream in my eye. You can actually hear the difference. I can. I'm not sure if you can. You'll be able to hear the difference of when the cream is no longer that liquid as it starts to go into its 3 stages of lightly whipped. Yeah, there's 3 stages.
Who's accidentally made butter?
Me. I've done a lot of accidents.
Yeah, that's how you learn.
So now I'm not actually getting hit by butter. I can have a look through there. And because I haven't set a time, it won't stop until I tell it to stop. So it's just gone for the minute.
Yep.
And it wants it to go for 2 to 3 minutes.
Yep.
And I'm just watching butter. So
yeah. I'm going to get mine started while yours does that.
Is your onions finished?
Pardon?
I was going to say, have your onions finished, but you've got the sneaky and you put the second machine there.
I got 2 machines, yeah, on the bench. So I just moved one to the side. Oh, no, because to make butter, I've got to whip it and essentially make whipped cream. So I thought, I'll play along too. So now to describe what I'm seeing, the butter is actually, the cream is now actually getting thick against the wall and there's no sloshing sound anymore. I've gone a minute 62. So I'm just going to stop my selector and check that out. And it's looking pretty good. It's looking quite soft. So that's quick and easy whipped cream. Now I could whip that just a little bit longer if I want it to form slightly firmer peaks. A good hint, if your cream is closer to the use by date, it's going to turn to butter quicker. So if it is fresh cream, it will take slightly longer to make your whipped cream, but there's less making butter. There's less making butter accidents going on. So I actually think that's quite thick. Yeah. So that is a very thick butter. So Michelle's going to continue on with her whipped cream, and she's going to deliberately make butter. Yeah, That's not something I do often. I usually accidentally make butter because I am notorious for putting things on. I've got a very busy household and for walking away. This is why a Thermomix suits me. True story, I actually set fire to a frying pan handle the week before my Thermomix was delivered because I walked away for some reason and I had it just on the wrong part of the flame. And I had a really bad cold, and my eldest son was about 7 or 8 at the time and said, Mum, I think there's something wrong on the stove. And I was like, stop being a smart aleck, just stop fighting and da da da. He was like, no, Mum, should it be orange? I was like, what? So I learnt my lesson and I was very grateful the Thermomix was on its way. All right, so that's the first step. Now I've just followed the instructions. I'm not going to tip it too far because then I'll give my laptop a buttermilk shower and that will not be cool. So it just says remove the butterfly whisk. Using the simmering basket, strain the liquids from the solids, reserving the buttermilk for later. Who cooks with buttermilk? I know banana bread is the one thing. Yes. I make the cheap version of it too. Yeah, my dear old grandmother taught me to cheat buttermilk. But if you're making butter, isn't it amazing that you think of costing wise? It's butter. I know butter's gone up, but it's $6.40 for a 500-gram thing of butter at the moment. But how much stuff you can get from it?
And because it's cream closest to its use by date, makes the best.
Yep. Yeah, see this one. Oh, did you just drop out?
Yep.
In the most butter.
She's
you
back.
get that cream that's reduced to 20 cents the night before it's.
She's back.
Did I disappear?
You did disappear.
All right, I was just talking to all my friends.
Oh my gosh, it's been a while since I've made my butter actually, to be honest. There's that many things to make. You get really lost, don't you?
Yes.
I don't know about you, but I just have this big list of things that I want to do and I never quite get there. All right, that's that done. So now it says 500 grams of chilled water. All right, so I'm just going to make sure I'm just doing this over my sink. Sorry, I'm out of view at the moment, but just trying to make sure it's not messy. My cream wasn't super, mine was a bit fresh, I think, for what I'd like it to be. All right. All right, so now we're going to put the water back in with the butter and wash it. Sorry.
So we get to keep the first lot of liquid because that's our buttermilk.
Yeah.
And then you're rinsing off the rest in the cold water to help chill it down.
Correct.
Perfect.
Oh, my onions are done.
You'll have to get your hands.
I'm so excited.
See you on the screen doing all of this exciting stuff, Michelle, but I think you're hiding in the corner. That's all right.
Oh, sorry. I just realised I don't have chilled water. That was my bad. I was trying not to get it ready too quickly because then it wouldn't be chilled, would it? Butter's very messy, isn't it? So I don't have a massive kitchen. So when I'm doing lives, I find it a little bit tricky to do things like the butter because I'm half over the sink, half trying not to spill it down my front, because that's something I would do as well.
Yeah.
But it is fun that you can make all of this. Like,
could you show us what's in your jug, the butter? Ah, thank you.
All right, so it was quick. Oh my gosh, Michelle, what are you doing?
And it's very easy to make your flavoured butter. I had a look at garlic butter in the supermarket the other day, just for one of those little square cut-ups.
Yes.
$8.
I used to buy that years ago. $8. Are you serious?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness, Lordy Lord. All right, that's a lot. All right, so another 5 seconds. We're going to wash that.
Now, the washing of buttermilk is really important, isn't it, Michelle?
It really is, because if you don't wash it properly, it doesn't keep very well. Unless you get all of that buttermilk out. So you can see it's a bit of a sloppy mess at the moment. What was that, Kimberly?
It freezes really well once it's made too. So don't be put off by the fact that you've got cream close to its use by date. That's why we're washing it really well. It freezes great. I freeze it in milk. I freeze it in baking paper. So then it's all rolled. And then if someone comes over and I happen to cook steak for that special someone, it looks pretty.
Yum. That special someone is me. I love steak. Steak is my favourite. And I'm devastated it costs so much. I can't have it much of it anymore at all. It's a very simple person. Steak, chips and eggs, and I'm set for life. Oh my gosh. All right, so I'm just straining this out again. What was that?
And I was just saying, straining it out in the simmering basket is so much easier.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can actually pop that simmering basket in your bowl during your pre-clean. So it'll get washed anyway.
Yeah. Absolutely. Definitely. All right. Well, I feel like I've made a very big mess here, but I will get a container and I'll just let that strain for a little bit longer, and then I'll get a container and pop it in and show you. But in the meantime, I'm going to show you the onions. All right. I'll bring it to the... Oh, they smell delicious. Can you see that? I'm just going to pop them in a bowl. That way you can see them better because it's on a white bowl, not in a Thermomix jug. All right. There you go. Can you see that okay? And then it says, if desired, then you can chop them. But do you know what I'm actually going to use this for? Tomorrow we're making beef strog for dinner. And I'm going to stir them in at the end because they are delicious. Either that or I'll eat them straight. It does smell amazing, Melissa. So you can definitely...
but I can smell them and I'm not at your house.
That's because you don't like onion. I like onion for the both of us. So thinking about, you can chop them so that they are a diced up onion, but I actually really love them in the wedge, just to make it, it's this beautiful flavour, it really is. Now, you could saute that and pop some garlic in with it as well. I'm really taking out my heritage now, aren't I? Onion and garlic, but whatever suits you. There are collections on Cookie Do that show you high heat vegetables as well as not only your onion and your meats and things like that. So plenty, caramelised onion is delicious. So anyway, make my point there.
If you're wanting to use the high heat recipes, funnily enough, like if you want to just sear chicken or just sear individual things, because you can't use the high heat mode on its own. You need to change your filters to English and remove Australia, because only the American platform has the high heat and the very simple recipes in it for you to have access to.
Oh. Yeah, does everyone know how to change their filters? Because we're going to have a Cookie Do lesson soon. I'm just going to get this bread started. I'm just going to leave my butter just to keep draining for a minute while I show you. I'm going to take one of these Thermomixes away.
Michelle, while you're doing that, we've had a question in the chat that's about the fat content of the cream when you're using when you're making butter, and minimum is 35% fat in your cream. So if you are, don't go for light cream, and try not to thicken. I mean, thickened cream's fine, but just know what they've used as a thickening agent in it.
Absolutely.
Pure cream's a bit harder to find, that's a problem, but definitely it needs to be more than 35% fat in your cream for it to up.
Yes, that's a very good point. And look, I looked at pricing before because obviously the way the world is going, we need to save every cent we can. And you can definitely, I would save thousands a year just by tweaking things and making little bits and pieces here. But, times it by 52 if it's something you have weekly or 26 a fortnightly. And it really adds up. So I get excited and I have to take a big breath. Butter is $6.40. The actual cream to make the butter is $4. And it's a similar amount. Then you've got the buttermilk that comes from it. If you're buying that, that's $2.70 for buttermilk, which is a byproduct of making butter. So it was $9, and I wrote it down. I knew I'd forget, $9.15. worth of product you're getting out of $4. And then if you're finding your cream on special, like we all do, then you're getting it even cheaper. So imagine, you know, times that by, if you were to make butter every fortnight, it's about $130 a year on one thing, one little tiny thing, condiment in your house. So just thinking about, you know, adding up and thinking of the full value of what you're making as opposed to buying it. It really does add up and make a very big difference. All right, I'm going to show you buttermilk bread. And I'm giggling because you'll laugh at the end because I've been a bit creative with it tonight. I've already made one to show you later, but we're going to do some of the steps together just so you obviously understand how to do it. Bread is something that I really enjoy making. Sorry, I've just got to get something else out. I really, really love making all the different doughs and breads and stuff like that. I find it really fun, and you know, you can make so many things for your household and your children, if you've got children, partners, for lunches, all that sort of stuff. All right, so let's go. I've just poured some of it out. I've still got it there straining, so I've got to press it out in a minute.
I mean, it does help that the dough needs the air punched out of it halfway through. That's always good. We need a bit of that, a bit of stress relief.
I was tenderising meat earlier today. Jeez, was that fun? That was the right day to do that while all my boys were fighting. All right. Oh, a bit more, Michelle. All right, so that's that. Next, water. Where's my tray gone? Over here. I haven't even brought it out yet. So 200 grams of water now. So again, scales, 1 gram increments.
Apologies if anyone needs to go to the bathroom.
I was going to say, what a sorry. I'm very heavy-handed when I pour while I'm standing behind the machine, I notice, but when I'm normally doing it from the front, it's not so bad. All right, so 2 teaspoons of dried yeast, that's there. And now we're going to pop the lid on. Now that's just warming to 37 degrees. So we're just activating the yeast at the moment. If you're popping yeast in, we never put salt on top of yeast. Doesn't matter what the recipe says, never add salt on top of yeast or it kills the yeast off. The other thing is you can't have it too hot. It needs warmth to activate, but if it's hot, it will deactivate the yeast and kill the yeast off once again. So there's a smidgy bit of science to it, but not too much. Definitely manageable. So that's going to activate. What was that?
Suzanne, are you able to pin the other machine so that we can see Michelle's screen?
So sorry, yeah.
That's right. I'm just going to sort this butter out.
Thank you for reminding me. I think they're
Now,
quite well. Yes, I've lost everyone.
With Michelle waiting for that butter to drain out, a cheat that I do is your chuck's cloth, your blue chuck's cloth. I'll actually pour it in there and I'll squeeze it all out because I'm a very impatient person. I'm not going to let it sit in the sink.
I usually do, and now I have regret because I've made an awful mess. And I've wanted to show you guys. So I'm just popping it in a container to show you. Now, bearing in mind, if this is cream I bought today, unfortunately, so it didn't make as much as if it was, you know, closer to the use by date, you get more from it. I know that sounds strange, but that's still probably, I should weigh it, still probably similar to what I bought, the 500 grams. Can you see that?
And if you want it to be spreadable, there's tips and tricks in that recipe to add oil to it, add salt to it, a few different things.
You just add oil, and adding salt to it obviously preserves it as well. So it'll have a better shelf life afterwards. But look at the nice color of it without, I nearly died when I had a look at, there was one butter or margarine or something that I looked at years ago and it had all this yellow food coloring in it. I thought, oh, I'm feeding that to my children. That is not okay. So yeah, so that'll go in the fridge. I'll pat it down a little bit further before I pop it in the fridge so that it'll be nice and packed in and firm, and that will be right for them to have for breakfast. Kids love it. I don't know why, but they're very in tune to what's homemade. They're like, oh, this is homemade butter. It tastes better, Mum. I'm like, okay, cool, whatever works. And it does. It's got a beautiful flavour to it. I'm just not expecting 3 Hoover boys to notice that. All right, 20 seconds to go. Now with this bread, you can do all sorts of things with it. Once the dough has proved, so after this step, we're going to add the flour and the salt, and then we're going to let it prove while we go through cookie dough, and Kimberly shows you some other recipes. And then I'm going to show you shaping the dough in all different ways, so that moving forward, you've got a few things up your sleeve. All right, so it's saying to get a tin ready, and I'll talk to you about the tin in a second as well. Now, 500 grams of flour. I did pre-weigh this because I cannot be trusted with the big quantities of flour. I get it everywhere. All right, 1 teaspoon of salt. That's done. Now popping the lid back on, and it's going to knead it for me. So who loves the fact that you don't have to knead to make your own bread? Oh, hang on, it's mixing first. 6 seconds mixing, and then it'll knead. There we are. So keeping a measuring cup in there, it's going to do 3 minutes on dough mode. Now with dough mode, we don't walk away from it while it's kneading, just because sometimes it can get overbalanced within the jug, and sometimes go for a little wander on your bench or bounce around a little bit. So we just stay around it when it does that. Pardon me. All right, that's going to do that. So do you want to go through cookie dough, Suzanne?
I'd love to. So I'm going to actually let you guys go on mute for a minute.
Yes, thank you.
Take everyone over to cookie dough for a bit. So let's jump onto this screen here. All right, everyone, here we have our cookie dough platform. Now, actually, I'll just make sure I've got my cursor on the right spot. You can see it saying hello to me. If you haven't already got a cookie dough account, please take out an account. It's free for 30 days. It'll give you a really good understanding of cookie dough and the options of the recipe platform that we've got available. And what I really love about cookie dough now is that it's not just recipes, it's about guiding you through information with your Thermomix. So not only can I find out recipes, but I can find out information. So as I go down here, I've got, of course, my search bar. And so I could do something like, you know, search. The other day I searched lentil moussaka, but I'll just put lentils in, and I could put lentil and come up with lots and lots of recipes that have lentils in them. Or I know just before, one of our ladies that is on tonight said, how about Veroma dishes? Have you got any other ideas? And I can just put Veroma in here. And just by putting this in here, it'll come up with, what's this? 3,337 Veroma dish recipes that you can just have a play through and find what you like the look of. Now, at home, I have kids that are learning Italian, so I actually have my Italian filter on, and I like to pretend I practice French now and then, so I've got my French filter on, but I'll take them off. And just for Veroma dishes alone, there are 770 in English that are on there. So, you know, lots and lots of different ones. These sticky toffee puddings are amazing. And someone in the chat before was saying to us that she was making steamed donuts. So I might look up that recipe a bit later. But let's look at the sticky toffee puddings. If I click on that recipe, you can see here that I can see it's 4.8 stars. We've had 167 reviews on it so far. Now, reviews haven't been around that long on our Cookie Dough platform, so don't be perturbed if there's a new recipe particularly. People may not have started just yet. So all of them are working. All of them have been triple tested by our test kitchen in WA. So as we look down, we've got a couple of choices. We can have a look at the recipe first. I through and say, oh, look, that looks lovely. Yes, I definitely want to cook that. It's going to take me only an hour, okay, and 25 minutes hand on and make 8 portions. 8 portions. I probably only need 4 portions because there aren't a lot home, and you can click on that little button there and that will allow you to actually change your portion size. So I'll show you how to do that a little bit later, or to find out the information, in fact. Now, I might think, all right, well, that's a great recipe, but I'm not going to make it tonight. What I'd like to do is add it. So I'm actually going to add it either to a bookmark. If I want to, I can add it to a collection. So I might do that. I'm going to add it to my collection of cakes. There you go, pop it in there so it's in my collection of cakes. Now I might also add it to my week and say, yep, I'm very happy to make that on Friday night. I think the kids will be pretty happy with that. So I put it on the 16th and save it there. but I may need some extra ingredients because I know that I was running a bit low on dates, because we do use a lot of dates in the house. So I can add that to my shopping list. And to find that information, I just visit up here into my week. And I can see, you'll be able to see all the things that I'm cooking this week. There we are. We've got the ginger salmon for tomorrow night. We've got those sticky toffee puddings now in for Friday. And I don't know why I'm doing that on the 4th of October, but I must have been showing someone something. But that turkey bowl is actually really delicious. But you can see there they show up on your weekly planner. And by clicking on this one, you can get, you know, a whole screen of planners. So you can see, I haven't been that good this week, but last week you can see all of the things that I've been cooking in my Thermomix over the weeks. So it's a good way of planning meals and a good way of just keeping track of what you're doing. Michelle was saying before about, you know, how useful Thermomix is for saving money, and by menu planning, that is an easy way to save money as well, because you know what you're cooking and you can have your ingredients ready. Now, I was mentioning about the shopping list. So if I go in here into show ingredients, you can see I've got my shopping list. I can actually change that to do it by recipe. Now, I recently made those cheese puffs, so I don't need to make that again, but there's the sticky toffee pudding recipe, and I can take off these recipes. Now, Cookie Do is a website, so it's a platform that you can get on your phone, on your laptop, on your computer, on your PC, as an app. So it's one website that connects to your Thermomix and any other thing that you put your Cookie Do name and password into. So as I save this here, it'll go straight to my Thermomix and onto every other platform that's using my Cookie Do account. So I can put in here, look, I know baking powder. I call these the secret buttons because they look a little bit faint, but I can click off that one there. I've got bicarb soda, click off that one there. You don't want to see me go through this whole process, but I can show you at the bottom, if I realize that I actually didn't have bicarb soda, I can put it back into my menu. Now you've got a couple of choices with your shopping list here. You can either order your ingredients online through Woolworths, which is a bit fun. So you'd have to have a Woolworths account to do that. We're in conversation with some other supermarkets at the moment, but at the moment we just have Woolworths. We'll come out of that one. Or actually, back to ingredients, I can actually go into options and I can share this. So I can send a message to hubby or to my friend to come and bring all my ingredients over to me. Now you can choose that by category, of course, or by recipe. One more thing to show you, as I promised before, when you're looking up searching on your Thermomix here, you've got some choices when you search. You can actually search by recipe, or we have lots and lots of collections. So you can see again, it's opened up all of the collections in all the different languages. So there are 6,437 collections throughout the whole 21 countries that we have with our platform. But what I might like to do is filter that and say, look, I'd actually rather just have the recipes that are in English, because I think that that will help me a lot. Or I can actually choose which country that I'm actually doing my recipe. So I might actually just get Australian recipes today, some Canadian ones, and actually I'm feeling a little bit Greek, so I'll go Cyprus as well. So then I can see all of the collections that are there in those different countries. So Australia, Canada, and Cyprus. Now, if I wanted to here, I could go in here and actually choose articles. Now, this is what I really love, because if you're thinking, look, I'd really like to know how to use my peeler. Yeah. So you can put peeler in here, get up peeler mode, and you've got these great little infomercials or information sessions that'll show you how to use things. So here it'll show you how to use the peeler just by clicking on this. So it's a real information platform. Now I'm going to go back again, because you can look at the peeler yourself. Okay. The other one you can do is back to Varoma, put in Varoma, and it's got a really good little section on tips of using your Varoma. Let's have a look. Where's my tips? Oh, there's a obviously further down, but there's one on using Varoma in your Thermomix, and yeah, multi-layered cooking. There we are. And that'll give you a whole lot of suggestions on dishes that you could make using your Varoma. Look at some of these. This sticky sriracha tofu bowl is amazing. You can see that we're into the bowls at the moment. So let's jump back out of that again. So you saw in here, we had the recipes, or we had the collections, or we had the articles. We're going to go back to recipes for a minute. And what I'm going to do is actually take you back to our front page. So here we are again, back onto my front page. And as I scroll down, this is just like your information session on what is current in Thermomix at the moment. So what's new on Cookie Do? You can find some new recipes people are trying. I should finish up in a sec because I'm sure the girls are ready to continue with their dishes. Italian comfort food, it is wintry time, so we're going to have a lot of that delicious winter things. There's a whole section on doughs, different doughs. And down here, it's got more information. There's Thermomix layering your cooking, so getting use of your aroma. So that's very handy. That's actually a current session on here in the thing. And then there's an information here on using those serving sizes that I mentioned to you before, that you can actually reduce or increase your serving sizes. So you can find out all of this information yourself by jumping onto Cookie Do. Of course, you can ask your consultant as well, and they'll give you lots and lots of information. But in this day and age, sometimes at 10 o'clock at night, it's just easy to have a look for yourself. So I encourage you to have a look on Cookie Do and see what's on there, because it really is terrific. So if you're looking for something, remember again, jump back into here, go into search, go into articles, and you can look up whatever you'd like on there. So what I'm going to do is come off there now, because really this isn't a Cookie Do session. This is about us seeing some really great easy dishes. But back again, off.
No, thank you so much, Suzanne. It was lovely to go through that. And just for everyone that is watching, if any of that you felt like you needed more information, that's what your consultant's for. Your consultant is, I always say the job starts when you sell a Thermomix as a consultant with the customer journey. So they're there to support you, whether you need to learn how to use Cookie Do, scaling recipes, you aroma more, you're stuck in a rut, whatever it might be, grab a couple of friends and invite your consultant over to show you some more tips and tricks. Now, an inspiration. Now, while that was happening, what I did was the dough finished, so I thought I'd start letting it prove. Like I said, I have done this up already, so I'm not depending on it. Who's got a bread mat? I will say, I'm not an overly gadgety person. I will do things very traditionally and very simply, but I love my bread mat. You can get your bread mat one or two ways, or you don't want to pay for things if you can help it. You can earn it, either by hosting a cooking demonstration with your consultant, or it's in your consultant kit when you join us. And we do have an earn with 4 sales in your 60 days at the moment. Now, what's great about the bread mat is it's a fiberglass inner, but it's encapsulated with silicone. So now you'll see it flips around my bench. If you needed to work with it, just get some water and put it on your bench underneath. Probably won't work because I'm showing you, but it works for me every other time, and it just stays there. You'll see it sticks. All right, so what I wanted to show you was, now, no judgment, I make bread a lot. So my bread tin looks very well used. But what I wanted to show, I've got another one from stock that looks absolutely beautiful, but I wanted to actually show you how good a quality it was. I've had this for 7 years. I've got a couple of them, and it's banana bread through to loaves of bread through to multigrain, whatever I want to make, I make it in this. It's got the lid, you can make it with or without. I find making it with the lid on makes it easier for sandwiches and stuff, but if you're not making sandwiches, it doesn't matter. And just proving it till it's a little, about an inch under. Now, these bread tins are in the mix shop. I like to say they're anaphylactic to water. Like any good tin, they're not really good at being submerged, put in the dishwasher, etc. You ruin the coating on them. So I recommend, even though not everyone does, I did the old-fashioned greasing. Butter, tap the flour around, and then I've not touched it since. So once you finish cooking with it, you just wipe it out with some paper towel or a very, very just damp cloth to keep it nice. So you can see it's nice and clean inside. It's just a bit ratty on the outside. So we can make a whole loaf of bread if we want to, and we would do that by putting it in balls, 4 of the same size, round dough balls there. Now this buttermilk bread is a stickier dough. The other thing I love is my little thing from the mix shop. It was only a couple of bucks in the mix shop, but it's really good for cutting your dough. So I'm just going to work that dough now and add a little bit more flour as I need it. I'm just going to show you a few things. All right. Another thing we've got, anyone making baguettes, we've got our baguette tray. Anyone doing that? So that's the baguette tray from the mix shop as well. I think there's a rose gold one as well at the moment. And it's just a matter of, you know, making as small or as long or as large as whatever size you want. But just, it's so simple. I make them a bit bigger than that usually, but you get the gist, and then you just score across the top, let it proof in here, and then bake it so that you get that lovely shape. Now, the other thing I love to do is in my I can't hear you. You've gone like robotic.
Now, I reckon that probably Kimberly was going to say, Karen's asked a question about the bread tin, whether it's stainless steel or whether it's got a non-stick coating. I don't have one of the mix shop ones at home. Is it stainless steel though, isn't it?
I don't know what it's made of. It's one of the Mackie bread tins. I don't know what
there's no non-stick coating, so it's
no
before come off. Yeah.
No, it's just. Who's that? Is that Kimberly still?
Robot lady, put it in the chat.
I was going to say, Kim, maybe mute her so she can talk properly.
Make her go away.
Yeah. You're going to have to pop it in the chat or do something with your internet, Kimberly. We can't hear you. So now what I'm doing, it doesn't have a non-stick or anything, but, you know, every bread tin sort of has a finish on it, doesn't it? But it's definitely not like I don't feel like it's treated with anything. It's definitely something I'm not gentle with it. I've been rough with it over the years, and nothing has come off or peeled. That's why I wanted to show you the old one, so you could see what that was. Now, if you're going to make a bread roll, does anyone make bread rolls? Love to see.
I do.
You do. So you might do it differently to me. I make my bread rolls like this. So I get all the air out and I make it a little, you know, sort of like a disc. And then I pull it up like a taco. And then I pull my sides in, almost like a dumpling. And then pinch and turn, pinch and turn. Now, this is a very soft dough, so you probably actually wouldn't need to do it this way. You could probably just roll it in a ball and make it happen. But some of the everyday breads don't. So just making sure that that top is smooth. Whatever you have, whatever little crevice you have on the top becomes a big crevice when you bake it. So just thinking when you're popping it down on your tray, making sure that it does look quite smooth on top, and you'll get some really beautiful rolls. Keeping them just apart so that they rise up together as well. Gives you that beautiful, you know, that soft, fluffy, you know how when you pull bread rolls apart, you get that wafer, that little bit of bread in between. It's beautiful and fluffy. So bread rolls are easy like that. You can of course flatten it out and make like a focaccia with it. You can roll it out. I haven't done this for a while. I'm a bit brave doing it live, aren't I? I used to make knot rolls all the time. Do you make knot rolls at all, Suzanne?
Sometimes, yeah, definitely.
I haven't made them for a very, very long time. But anyway, and just remember, tucking it all underneath and it will rise nice and neatly as well. You're literally tying it in a knot and tucking the ends under. So once they come out of the oven, if you like the tops to be beautiful, and I don't even know what the word is, you know, just brushing them with butter. What's the word, Suzanne? They're just delicious. If you want delicious tops with your bun rolls, brushing it with butter, yeah. All right. Now,
can I just, Michelle, get a hands up for people that you can still see the screen? For some reason, my screen's got, I can't see you, and I just want to make sure everybody else can see you.
Can everyone see me? Thumbs up
in the chat to say that you can see Michelle.
Yeah, I can see you. Thumbs up.
Yes.
The other thing I wanted to show you was when I took the dough out of my bowl, I tipped it upside down, and while Suzanne was doing cookie dough, and I turned the blade from underneath, and you just keep working that until you can get some leeway with it and some traction with it, and then the dough drops off the blades onto your bread mat underneath. All good? So I'm going to let that prove a little bit more. Sorry, but do you want to see my Francois little attempt at the So I was
You
turning it
do.
into like a pizza focaccia kind of thing. And the instructions for this class asked us to be a bit creative with it. Ready? Now don't laugh. Look.
Oh, that's terrific.
So I've got onion for the grass down the bottom, parsley. I've got a tomato. I've got more onion, rosemary, and some more parsley. You're gonna have fun with this. Can you imagine getting some kids stuck into this? I'm not the most patient person in the world. I really am not. But I actually did have fun. My husband walked past the kitchen, took one look at me, and shook his head and kept walking.
I love it.
But it was really fun. But what you actually can do, but when I made this, I hadn't done my onions yet, is pop your sauteed onions on top and some cheese and bake it. Happy? Nice? Fun? All right. Has Kimberly got internet back?
Testing.
Oh,
Oh,
thank goodness.
yeah, good.
If you could see my kitchen right now, if you're an electrician, you'll roll over in your grave. I'm doing everything I should not be doing across my kitchen sink.
Oh, John.
And I yelled out to my 13-year-old, "Get me your laptop now!" And I've got pots stacked on top of each other that have the screen up this high. I don't know what happened.
That's okay. These things happen. As long as you're back, because I don't have the ingredients for what you're making. That would be awkward.
All right. So yeah, the setup's a little bit different. I can't quite get the whole thing in, but
okay.
you've seen Michelle's screen, so we all know what it looks like. All right, so I'm going to do the cooked mayonnaise. Now, I came across this recipe when I was pregnant because obviously I couldn't have the other mayonnaise because it's raw, and I love this. It is absolutely delicious. The best thing about this mayonnaise as well, it'll say in the tips of this, its shelf life. So this one is a 2-week shelf life. It's going to hit start cooking. Place a jug onto the mixing bowl lid. So we're just going to use it essentially as a set of scales. Here's my jug. And then next, 300 grams of grapeseed oil. Now, it's grapeseed oil because it's not an overpowering taste. I have used olive oil before and it was not very nice. I have had avocado oil suggested as an alternative, and I haven't tried it, but I have had good reviews. I've had a few people suggest avocado oil.
Any light oil, mild and light oil, because olives just, I mean, I use olive oil for absolutely just about everything, but I did use it once for mayo and never again. I learned that lesson.
300 grams of grapeseed oil. And then I'm going to go next. Set jug aside. This is the quickest mayo you will ever make. Teaspoon of salt. 30
I remember
grams.
how. Huh?
You go.
I said I remember how excited you were when you found this recipe.
30 grams of white vinegar. I shared that excitement onto my mum. She loves this recipe. She makes it fortnightly.
Oh, that's good.
Now, this one is a placed simmering basket on top. So I've got my salt and my vinegar in there. I'm going to hit next. 3 minutes. It's going to go 100 degrees onto speed 1. I'm essentially heating up my vinegar and dissolving my salt because the last thing you want to do is crunch salt while you're having mayonnaise.
No.
I'm going to turn that one on. So this is a good example. This is where my simmering basket is on top because we're over 95 degrees.
Yeah, just as a little safety feature there.
Just as a little. Now, did I miss the bread tin? I missed the bread tin discussion, didn't I?
You did.
The reason is you've actually
question?
got 2 different tins. The first tin was one of the originals that came out. That's very much a baker's tin. I do not line. I do not cover. I do not put banana bread. I only ever use dough in it, and I only have to wipe it out, and bread will tip straight out, no problem. The other tin that's in the milk mix shop, the newer version, do have to line it, do have to do the butter, and it does have a non-stick coating on that one.
I don't reckon. So the new one, do you reckon it's got a non-stick coating?
Oh yeah, I think it does. It feels very different to the old faithful one I used to have.
It's I've got one of the I've got 2 of the old ones. It's down one of the old ones, one of the new ones. Sorry, it's a different tin, definitely. But to be honest, I always look after. It was something I learnt old-fashioned baking years ago. Was just to seal your tins, just to do the flour and the butter once, and then you're right to go. But I don't use any tin without doing that now.
I just love how easy the loaf tips out. I made 2 yesterday. I didn't put the lid on and I got the beautiful mounds. I would show you, but I made 2 loaves of bread yesterday and they're both gone. Because when you make bread fresh in this house, they're gone.
No, it's not good. At least you don't have to stare at it. No
No.
problem keeping it.
What are you doing with your dough? What are you going to shape the next loaf into?
I think I'm just going to do some baguettes and then a couple of rolls. I am going to put that some of those onions on it, I think.
I'll
Yeah,
have
I've
an
got
Italian and herb footlong, please.
I have got Italian herb spices in there,
There you go.
but no, just going to make some simple. It's a very sticky dough compared to the dough I normally make.
Mhm.
But looking at that, did you see my creation?
I did see your creation. It was beautiful. I actually have edible textures for when I'm decorating cakes, and you could give that slab of bread that you made to the kids and have them decorate it themselves.
Oh my god!
Draw themselves onto the bread. So that's got 37 seconds to go. So obviously, Shell and I can talk underwater. You will learn that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Not that you can see my machine, but there's red lights. Our lights turn red once we get over 65 degrees. This is a bit of a visual to say don't touch the bowl as I touch the bowl. Don't touch it.
Speaking of the bowl, what have we got on at the moment?
We've got a second bowl deal. So I actually didn't clean my one from the whipped cream. I've just popped on another one. So if you purchase now until, and it's been extended until Sunday at midnight, you can get a second bowl for $29. So that's a saving of $346. I highly recommend it.
Yeah, oh my
All
gosh,
right.
you've seen us all chopping and changing our bowls around.
So I'm just going to hit next. It wants me in a small bowl to crack 2 eggs, which I've done.
Yep.
Going to go next. So 30 seconds. I keep getting the meanwhile recipes. Turn speed selected to speed 3. Meanwhile, follow the next step.
Meanwhile, do what you're told.
I like doing as I'm told.
I know. That's why you get the meanwhiles.
Add the reserved eggs through the hole in our lid.
Yep.
No.
That used to make me nervous doing that. I don't know why.
I'm going to go next. Wants me to pop my lid back on. Oh, no, it doesn't. I'm going the next step. Because you can actually hit preview and you can see your next step, which is great. Exactly the same as scrolling through your cookbook. You can go, oh, what do I need to get out next? You can still do that on the screen of your machine.
There's a question for Suzanne there. That's a Suzanne question.
Is there? Wait a sec. I'm just answering another one. I'm doing chat questions as we go along. I'm glad that you're having a lovely time there.
I am. Sorry.
Gluten-free bread.
Good.
All right.
Yeah.
So, do you want to talk about gluten-free bread?
Yeah. Oh, no. Off you go. Is there a nice gluten-free bread or rolls that's popular? No. Is there more questions? Sorry, which question did you mean?
No, the gluten-free bread, because you're better at gluten-free.
Oh, look, I'm trialing them at the moment because Bimby Jack, my son, has suddenly found out he's better without gluten. So we've gone gluten easy at the moment and finding lots of good ones. So
yeah.
Yeah, look, yes, I won't gabble about. There's lots. I reckon have a look on Cookie Do and trial and error for your own taste. But I'll say my favourite ever gluten-free recipe is always there's a puff pastry there, and I use it just as my normal puff pastry. It's the gluten-free easy puff, I think it's called, and it's such a good puff pastry. It's better than the wheat pastry easily.
Oh, I have to have a look at that.
My favourite gluten-free is the 2-ingredient pizza dough, where you use Greek yogurt and gluten-free flour. No need to wait for time to rise. And it's quick and easy. I love that one. All right, while my bowl's still hot, so into the measuring cup, into the mixing bowl lid, we're going to turn the speed selector to speed 6. Now, we know our measuring cup actually allows steam out, which means that it allows liquid to go in. So pretty much we're going to emulsify our oil as it goes in and create our mayonnaise. So that's going to be speed 6.
Delicious.
And I'm going to very slowly pour it in.
Oh, yeah. That's my downfall, the very slowly bit.
It's my big downfall. I may or may not just fill up the lid and let it do it itself.
Yeah, that's the good thing about the way the MC is. It just has a little bit of a gap that it just lets it flow just bit by bit through to get that proper emulsification. Oops, I better score those.
as you're going along, I'm just going to keep gabbling about gluten-free for a bit.
Go for it.
The pita breads are also awesome. Any tortillas and stuff that you do gluten-free. And I find like it's like muffins or the cheese rolls and stuff like that that just use flour, that don't use yeast, rise really well with gluten-free flour as well.
Yep. It's a good tip.
Sulo's actually put a really good tip up there about the ingredient pizza, that it's important to cook the base for 4 minutes before putting the tomato paste and toppings on, and then back in the oven. Otherwise it can be a bit gooey in the middle. And that's yeah, that's a good point. Actually, we did some gluten-free pizzas on the weekend and they were a bit gooey in the middle until I realized exactly that you really need to make sure it's got a good brown on before you put your toppings on. Good. It's the benefit of these classes, isn't it? We can share the information that we've got.
Yeah. And you learn so much. I don't know about you, but I learned so much after I got my Thermomix when I joined at team meetings.
Yes.
Like, you know, some of the consultants, I remember or Connie was at one of my meetings I felt like she'd been a consultant for a million years before me, and she's just so knowledgeable, and it was just so lovely to hear all the tips and tricks and learn.
Absolutely.
It's the best way to learn.
All right, my mayo's done.
Mayo's done.
Mayo's done. So
Well done.
it's a 5-minute recipe. I'll just get as much mayo as I can off the lid. Now, I have had people ask me how the oil gets in when they pour it in the lid. Don't pour it in the middle of the MC.
No,
It does happen.
It doesn't go in that way. Of course.
I'll just scrape down the sides of my mayo.
Yep.
Now, I will apologise in advance because now I don't have my buds or my phone. You may or may not hear at least one of 4 children and 1 husband.
That's all right. It's life.
There's my cooked mayo. Now, we'll play with the laptop screen. Hold on. Oh, actually, no, that's not going to work. I want to be able to show you. I love improv and technology failing. Let's have a look. There we go.
Look at that.
Yay.
Now you get to see things on my bench I didn't have planned. So we'll see how we go. So I'm going to take out my MC from the lid. This is just a masonry jar that I've repurposed.
Mason.
Mason? Is it Mason? Oh, yeah, it is. Yeah. Okay.
I think masonry is a building item, like in that kind of field.
Okay. So it has a slant in it. So it's pretty much used as a funnel. Your lid is already dirty from doing all the cooking. So why get out a funnel and dirty that? It fits perfectly on a mason jar. And also most sauce bottles when you're refilling them.
Yep.
I'm just going to scrape out as much of this as possible. You want to stir clockwise, and then you won't get chunks taken out of your spatula as well, because you're then naturally stirring with the spatula going on that blunt side of the blade. Done. So that's a 600 ml mason. Oh my God, mason jar, and it's full.
A jar.
It's a jar. That's a 600 ml jar. All right. Did I get mayo on my arms?
Oh, you should see me cook. You know how I cook.
All right. So that's it for the mayo.
Yep.
But what I'll do is I'm going to go back to that recipe detail and I'll just have a look at the tips in relation to it. So this mayonnaise can be stored in the fridge for up to 2 weeks, but there's variations. So if you have a read in the tips of any of the recipe you look at, you'll be pleasantly surprised. The variations for the mayo is to make garlic mayo or mustard mayo, and it'll put in those little steps for you.
Yum, yum.
I'm going to head home and go back to my week. Now, I don't need to clean my bowl for this next one. I'm going to make the coleslaw. This coleslaw is ready in 10 minutes. I can change the serving sizes if I want to. I'm going to hit start cooking, and yes, I'm going to start a new recipe. So it's 100 grams of carrot. It wants the carrot in pieces. A really, really good visual guide with your carrot in pieces is no bigger than the dial. That's a really good one for anything that's hard. So carrots, your tasty cheese blocks, that sort of thing. So I'm just going to pop 100 grams of carrot in. You'll notice my mayonnaise is still in the bowl. 1 green apple cut into quarters and cored, 50 grams of red onion. So clearly I won't be eating this. 200 grams of cabbage. Now I grabbed purple cabbage just for a bit of fun and colour. Really, I should be using the green one that's in my fridge for a week now, but I'll do these things for you. I'm going to go next. A pinch of salt, pinch of black pepper, 2 tablespoons of mayonnaise. Here's something I prepared earlier. And obviously, as this chops, it's all going to grab that mayonnaise that's on the side of my bowl and help with the cleaning.
Yep.
Oh, smells amazing. Pretty much, it's whole egg mayonnaise. Here we go next. There's a little video that's popped on my screen, and it explains the stir with aid of spatula. If you've made Pretty Dream or sorbet at your cooking experience, you'll know about the stir with aid of spatula. We all know our spatula's got the disc here. If you are using any other spatula, I will not hold it against you. But if the blades are turning and the machine is operating, this is the only one that you are allowed to use. It's there for your safety. It's going to knock down everything on the side, but not physically touch the blades. So we're going to go next. 2 seconds. 2 seconds on speed 4.
That long.
I'm going to hit next. Scrape down the sides of the bowl. Take out my spatula.
And it's a smart way to do things like if you've got a bowl that's dirty, tandoori paste, when I used to make that, then making the curry next so that you don't have to waste what's on the bowl and you can use it.
Melting chocolate, then pouring milk. That's the most common one.
A teaspoon of coffee and some chocolate and some milk, yes.
Measuring cup, 2 seconds. I'm going to go speed 4 again. Now it does say I can increase the time by 1 minute, if 1 second or 1 minute.
1 minute, you'd have
if
a
I
puree.
want to be smaller. Now,
yep.
I tend to find purple cabbage is actually firmer than green cabbage. So I'm going to do that again because there's still too many big pieces for me.
Yeah, it just comes down to personal preference, doesn't it? It's like the beetroot salad. That's another one that comes down to personal preference. How, if you want it that rustic or the finer.
Yeah, I like it the rustic. I do have an awesome cutter that does them all perfectly, all the same, and you feed them through. I'm such a great consultant. I've learned that to a customer who's hurt their wrist. So I don't have it to show you, and you can't feel bad.
And I've lent mine out to a consultant, and Suzanne's lent hers out to a consultant as well. So we'll have to show you a video in a minute of what we mean.
We will.
All right. So I'm just going to pour my beautiful purple coleslaw, and then I'll bring up the bowl to show you.
Yes, please. Sounds delicious.
Oh, yum. Look, it has turned purple.
It looks lovely.
Oh.
So because it's purple, that means my daughter will probably actually eat it. So there's that one. So that grabs all the mayo that's left over in your bowl, and that took me next to no time. And I've still got plenty of mayo in my mason jar left.
No, from now onwards, it is going to be called a masonry jar.
You know what? I think I call it that. I'm just going to call it that regardless. My dad keeps all of his nails and screws and everything in there. That's masonry. Right?
Oh, my goodness. I love it. That's really good. So we were talking a minute ago about the cutter, and I am devastated that I didn't get my hands on mine back in time. I think I just had a bit of a brain fluff there. But who's heard of the Thermomix cutter attachment? Yeah, awesome. So we know what we're talking about. Now, on that, it has also, so with your TM6, it's updatable. So rather than going out of date, it gets smarter. We have updates that bring in new modes all the time. When we started with the TM6, it definitely was only not even a whole screen of modes, and now we have to scroll. So the top mode was the last one. One before that was grating and slicing.
Slicing.
I had to think of the word. I'm like, and you know, that one. It's late, isn't it? Grating and slicing. So, oh my gosh.
And before that was the peeler, which you can also earn.
Yeah, exactly. So here on the screen, it's just a matter of pressing the grating button and you turn your dial to thin or thick. Now, we'll show a video in a second, but the blade cover and peeler, in addition to the cutter, is something that you can earn with free sales as a consultant within your first 60 days. I just want to make it clear because we've got some really good recruitment offers on at the moment, and I know what it's done for us all joining the business, and what it's done not only for confidence and learning, but you know, the flexible income, and especially at the moment, I just want to make sure everyone understands. So at the minute, we've got the ability to earn a white TM6 with just 4 sales in your first 60 days. So when you sell 4 sales in your first 60 days, you get the blade cover and peeler, as well as the cutter and your white Thermomix. Now, for a limited time, we can also, so for those of you who have already got a white TM6, it's literally a $125 business kit and you can get started earning commission right away with your first sale. Now, we have the ability, all of us as consultants and new consultants too, to earn the new black sparkling Thermomix. So I don't know if any of you have seen it. Pictures don't do it justice. It is beautiful, just mesmerizing in real life. So that's another thing that's on offer. So on top of, we've got the bowl blade lid for just $29 with a white TM6 purchase at the moment, which is one of our best and most popular offers, I will say. And we do have the price increase that is coming in the next couple of months as well. So we don't know the detail on that yet, but if it's something that you're considering purchasing Thermomix, then you know there's a great time at the moment. Or if you need a flexible income, joining us to earn your Thermomix, or just some extra cash on the side. Did you have the video for the cutter? Is it a quick video, Suzanne?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll do that now.
I just feel bad we don't have it to show for those who haven't seen it.
People will be very happy to see this.
And then my rolls will be probably ready to show after that.
Yep. All right. Sorry. Share screen. And I'll just say, this is the thing about 3 screens, trying to find my mouse in the right place.
Oh, I know. You do so well.
And off we go. Slicing mode. Oh, there you go. She doesn't have sound. Or maybe she does.
Oh, there it is.
Love it, Bolly. How good's that?
I feel like
very
they
clever.
sacrificed a cutter by cutting a hole for a camera in that video.
Oh, I love it. All right, I'm just going to show you before we wrap up. Now, they're still cooking, but I did pop some cheese and my onions on a couple of little baguettes there.
They look awesome.
So I'm leaving those. They've still got to cook a bit more, but I just wanted to show you before I finished. Along with, do you know how hard my kids laughed at me for this? I'm like, I think I passed kinder. But how fun. Smells amazing cooking as well. So that's it for all of our.
Can I hold on mine? Let's see.
Oh, I can't hold all mine.
And some whipped cream.
At least hold some of it. I'll take a photo.
I got all of it.
Now, of course, I can't screenshot because I've used up all of my
I love it. It's brilliant.
abilities on my computer.
I love it. But thank you so much for joining us tonight. If there is something that sparks your interest, whether it's, if you need a consultant, you don't have one and you need to be linked to someone, please let us know. If you're interested in business information, again, shout out all the $29 BBL. Interested in some more lessons on cookie dough, etc., converting recipes, all of that, contact your consultant because that's what they're there to help you with. But thank you so much for popping along tonight. It's been lovely to see. Kimberly's got a hand up. What's the matter?
If you want to have see more cooking classes and see what's around you, they will shortly. No, they are. They'll be on the mix shop, so you've got the one-stop place to go to. Now, sometimes there'll be more than one of the same class. Have a look at who the presenter. Presenter. Have a look at who the presenter is. If you had a look tonight, you would have seen the beautiful Michelle's face.
Yes, we had to.
I'll just show you very quickly where that is. So if you go on to our Thermomix in Australia website, then once you jump onto Thermomix in Australia, there's a little section here that says events, and you can jump on, and then it will give you the option of events near you. We've got now, so if you click on you'll see there are lots and lots and lots. So it's so worth doing. But just remember who your consultant is and make sure when you do go to an event that you've got his name in there too.
And if you don't have a consultant, you can Google consultant near me. You'll get someone local, or you can contact Thermomix via the website to ask for a consultant to be allocated to you.
Yeah.
Or ask your friends. Someone knows someone that's a consultant and you're helping someone's small business out. Now I'll stop interrupting you now.
That's right. I forgot what I was going to say.
Well, Michelle, are you around just in case anyone is keen on that opportunity to join the business?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'll hang back. That's for sure. Yeah.
Available. So please pop your name in the chat, or don't even pop your name in the chat. Just stick around now and turn yourself off mute if you want to have a chat or ask any questions.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we can run a little business information session if you want to find out more about how you can earn a mix.
I was going to say the Sublime Thermomixes on Facebook is our branch page, so you'll see our classes advertised there as well. So Sublime Thermomixes, and on Instagram I think it's Sublime Thermomix branch or something like that. I can't remember now. Yeah, thanks for popping that in the chat, Kimberly. But Sublime Thermomixes, it's just a branch page. We just share the odd thing here and there, and we share our classes so that you can keep up with what all of the beautiful team leaders are doing in this branch. Thank you so much, everyone. It's been lovely to spend the last hour and a bit with you, and I will see you, no doubt, in the future.
Yep, we've still got 28 people that are hanging on there. Yeah. So I'm hoping you 28 people are all keen to come and join us as Thermomix.
28 new consultants. That would be just so fun, wouldn't it?
It would actually. It would be very fun.
Yeah, it's the best part of our job.
Everyone who is signing off. But remember, if you do want to get a bowl blade and lid set too, guys, this is a great time. If you know friends or family members who are wanting that, it's such a good opportunity. Don't wait around for the trade up, because I really think this is a great.
Absolutely, definitely. Has anyone got any questions? We've still got 15 on. Feel free to come off mute. Hi, Ella.
I just wanted to ask, I have the TM6, so if I wanted to get an extra bowl, mind you, I actually have like a spare one, but I was thinking of getting a third one. Is there ever like specials where I can get it at a good deal, or do they not even do them?
Not often. Now and again, there's a bit of a mix-up sale, but if you do, that's the other thing. If you do join us, 6 sales in your 60 days gets you one for free.
Thanks,
Ella. The other thing is, if you've got your TM6 and you haven't had a delivery briefing and it's been quite recent that you've got it, you can get a discount. You can get a 20% discount off the mix shop, and that goes for your bowl blade and lid sets as well. How long ago did you buy your Thermomix?
I actually don't remember it, but it's been longer than 12 months because I think I got it in COVID or thereabouts.
That's okay. Look, what we do have sales now and then, so it's
now and again
an eye out. And if you join the Sublime Thermomixes page, we always put up that information when it comes about, or speak to your consultant and just let them know that you're after a cheaper bowl blade and lid set, because we often have them as a host reward, so it's worth looking out for.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks.
That's okay. Thanks for coming along.
And Jenny's asked whether the cutter's compatible with only the TM6. No, it's also compatible to the TM5. So TM5 or TM6, you can use the cutter on. You just need to manually if you're using it on the TM5.
Absolutely. Yep. It's a good question.